In this video, we're looking at the exact values for the unit circle, but we're going beyond acute this time. Now, what acute means is just any angle between 0 and 90 degrees. And what I actually mean by that is we always start off by measuring from the, and I'll just highlight that in blue, our positive x-axis, okay? So hopefully that loads up soon. So we always measure from a positive x-axis. So an acute angle measured from that is positively, so going counterclockwise from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. So what quadrant's that? That's quadrant 1, right? Then we have quadrant 2 over here, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. If you don't like that, you can just write 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to use our unit circle here to help us answer these problems, but firstly, let's have a look at it. We can ignore the radians for the time being. This is a pretty helpful diagram. So 0, here's 30 degrees. We know that this is our x value and this is our y value. And this one here, let's just pick some values here. This corresponds to cosine 30 degrees and sine 30 degrees. Okay, so we know that we can just use this to help us assess that. If you want to find, sine of 300 degrees, we just go to the 300 degree arc, and we know sine is going to be the y value. So in this case, it's negative root 3 on 2. Now, let's just double check. We know that all stations to Claremont, so all are positive here, okay? So write A. So what does that mean? You've got cosine is positive, sine is positive, and tan is positive, okay? Why is that? Well, we know sine is positive because any y value in this quadrant is positive. Cosine, this is the positive x-axis, this is positive. And tangent, we can see, if you draw a line from the origin to any of these, 60, 30, 0, 90, they're all sort of positive. So we can say that these are all positive. All stations, so this is saying only for S, sine is positive. Let's just check if that works. For cosine, if we look at cosine here, we know cosine, it's gone from a positive x-axis, gone to 0 here, and then it's gone into the negative x-axis. So any x-ordinate here is negative, so negative, negative, negative. So C is negative, sine is positive, and tangent, we can see any line drawn from here to the origin is a negative gradient. All stations 2 stands for T, which means tan's positive down here. And let's just have a look and make sure everything is negative apart from tangent. Cosine, we can see that every x-ordinate here is negative. Every sine value is negative because it's below the y-axis now. And we've got tangent, which is positive, right? Because if I draw a line from here to there, got that line there for 240 degrees, that's a positive gradient, positive, positive. So we've got that covered, all stations to Claremont. So this is saying C, only the cosine's positive. So cosine in this case, let's have a look. It's in the positive x-axis now, so we can see any values beyond 0 for x. So cosine's positive. Sine, it's negative because it's below. And tangent, if we drew a line from the origin to any of these dots here, we can see the gradient will also be negative. So without further ado, let's follow and solve these problems using our unit circle. So cosine 120, x value, negative half. Okay. We've got B, tangent 210 degrees, spin around 210. Now tangent 210 is going to be negative root 3 on 2 divided by negative half. We learned in the previous thing we're expressing exact values. We can just ignore the denominators when they're the same. So it's going to be negative root 3 divided by negative 1. This is equal to positive root 3. You can see here that looks about right. Okay, sine 270 degrees. So zoom around 270, and we know that sine in this case is negative 1. The y value there. D, tangent 180. 180, we can see the gradient here is 0. Cosine negative 30 means that we're going to go, instead of going anti-clockwise, we're going to go clockwise. So clockwise 30 degrees, we go here, which is the same as 330. And the x value is root 3 on 2. Sine 300, we spin around until we get here, and we see that sine 300 is negative root 3 on 2. Sine negative 120, we go clockwise, 120, so that'd be 90, another 30 would be here, and we get sine is negative root 3 on 2. And we've got cosine 135. which is the x value, negative root 2 on 2. So that's this video done. Hopefully it was of some help. In the next video, we'll be assessing exact values without the help of our unit circle diagram.